Hello, my name is Rebecca Jackson-Rees and I'm the CEO at the Out of School Alliance. I'm a play worker, I'm a playwork trainer and consultant, and I am going to explain to you now why for the last 18 months I have been creating this toolkit, Quality Works. It's part of the Make Play Work suite that we run under the banner of the Out of School Alliance, but this whole suite is really my baby. It's something that I work on because it's the stuff that I use to give back to the sector that I've worked in and love for the last 20 odd years. I'm not going to admit how many, over 20 years. But on this recording, I'm just going to take you through Make Play Work, Quality Works, explain to you a little bit about the toolkit, where it's come from, why I have spent the amount of time I have creating it, why we're super proud of it, and why we think now is the right time to get it out to the world. So, Make Play Work. Why now? Why Quality Works? Let's be honest, this sector is facing some real challenges right now. We've got some real opportunities as well, but underneath it all, there is a huge amount of change. Many providers are under huge financial pressure, competing for children, struggling to stand out. And this has been going on for quite some time, particularly in the post-COVID recovery years. And I know that we're in 2025 and lots of people question whether we should be talking about post-COVID now, but actually for the wraparound sector who determined to, in the most cases, stay open, what it meant was that for the vast majority of them, the profile of children who are coming into their businesses now is different. More families are managing working from home, more families are changing their working habits. More children and more families found solutions before and after school that worked for them, and they feel that childcare is expensive. So I don't actually think it's been there's ever been a more difficult time for the wraparound sector. So with providers under such financial pressure, they are finding it very difficult to know where to invest that's going to make the most amount of difference in terms of the quality of experience for children, which is almost always what guides practitioners and business owners in this sector. Our current Ofsted inspection framework doesn't actually leave providers in this space with a real clear identity and a real clear understanding of how to improve. With the removal of the graded inspections, leaving them with just met or not met, it doesn't reflect the years of hard work that setting owners have put in to develop a truly excellent setting. And for the vast majority of them, they can be left a little bit lost as to what to do next, what to do to improve, how to change their practice and develop their practice, because they're not getting that from elsewhere. What we are seeing in the Ofsted framework that is being consulted upon at the moment, I'm recording this in April 2025, is that there is a renewed focus on continuous improvement. And actually through the National Wraparound Childcare Programme, local authorities will be having a closer look on quality of provision within the wraparound space. But thinking about how we move from a met not met, very hands-off inspection methodology to a inspection methodology thinking about continuous improvement, from inside out inspection methodology where the setting leads the improvement journey and demonstrates that improvement journey to the inspector, which is what's being proposed. There's never been a more important time for the wraparound sector, particularly, to have something that helps them to do that, to achieve that. Parents, funders, schools all want proof of quality, and without Ofsted grading wraparound providers, without having a really constructive and really stringent application of that process that people have faith and people have belief in, where do providers turn? Well, how do providers demonstrate value? How do they share with parents the work, the amount of work, the sheer amount of work that goes on behind the scenes to really keep building and delivering brilliant experiences for children and for families in this space? Staff engagement is really tough. We know and we hear all of the time that recruitment and retention is really hard in this space, and it's hard across the whole of the children's workforce. But actually keeping your team motivated, involved and committed to improvement is actually harder than ever, because we're so fearful that if we ask more or we work to push for more, really, that becomes a bigger ask, and we are so worried about that feeling pointless, feeling like we're just doing it for Ofsted or doing it for a certain reason that we're not all behind, that actually isn't contributing to really seeing that improvement across the board. And no one else has actually defined quality in this wraparound space. I am, as a professional, putting my neck on the line here with this toolkit, because I believe that we haven't got a consistent definition of quality in terms of the quality of delivery, and a workable program around that people can really get behind. How do you know, or how does anybody know, what quality looks like in a wraparound space if there isn't a framework to follow, if there really isn't a definition of what that looks like, what that is all about, and what it, not just what it should be, but how to deliver it as well? So I'm putting my neck on the line, and I'm going out there with a framework called Quality Works. There is no easy way for practitioners currently to demonstrate the magic they create every day. There is no clear definition and instruction about how to go on that self-improvement, continuous improvement journey around your setting and your sector. And without that definition or description of quality provision, how do you know that you're continuously improving towards the right kind of a thing? What we don't want to do is to add to the confusion and the uncertainty in wraparound providers' lives. So I have questions. Knowing all of that around quality, recognizing the uncertainty, recognizing that we've got a tough landscape at the moment, where does it leave childcare business owners? Where does it leave wraparound providers? My question to you as a provider, and also to you, if you're interested in this space, is what if you as a wraparound provider, you as a wraparound team member, as a play worker, what if you could take control of your own quality journey? What about getting into a situation where we're not waiting for somebody else to tell us how good you are? What if we're not consistently questioning the impact that we make? What if we are not constantly questioning whether or not what we do is good enough? What if instead of settling for a Met judgment from an inspectorate that you guys in the sector tell us doesn't really understand what we do, you have a clear roadmap to excellence that helps you improve, helps you think about how you then market your setting, attract families to come to your setting, and make it a complete no-brainer to sign up? What would it be like? What would it feel like if there was an easy way of demonstrating the magic that you create for children every day? Those are the key questions that have been driving me over the last 18 months as I've been creating this programme. And I want to tell you a secret. I very strongly objected to needing to change my thinking in this space. I had to admit that providers really wanted some support, and I have restrained myself and I have resisted creating any form of quality toolkit, any kind of suggestion of assurance of quality under the Out of School Alliance brand, because I think that it has to be led from you. It has to come from a internal to your setting, your organisation. It has to come from that perspective. It cannot be an external expert coming in and making a judgment about your provision, because you are the people who know it best. And I am speaking directly to setting owners in this moment. You are the people who know your setting the best. You are the people who know the everyday magic that you create. And lots of people on this journey with the Out of School Alliance since 2021 have said to me that you want a tool or you want a rubber stamp for your setting that says we are of good quality. You should value us. You should recognise that what we do is really good and really valuable. But I don't believe that any expert from the outside, without knowing your setting really well and living in your setting, if you like, every day, can ever make that judgment better than you can in your setting. And I had to really change my thinking, and I had to really admit that there's got to be a middle way here. That what you're saying and what the settings are saying is that you really want some support with this. But what I know and what I feel from my years of experience and my huge passion for understanding and developing quality practice within this sector, there's got to be a middle way between that. We've got to be able to find something. So I kind of, saw it as a bit of a challenge to identify how we do this, how we overcome this. And that's where QualityWorks has come from. QualityWorks isn't about an external consultant coming in and grading you. It puts the power back in your hands as a setting owner to assess, reflect and improve in a way that truly works for your setting, that is truly reflective of your setting. The beautiful nuance that comes with the context of your setting, where you operate, what your staff team looks like, where in the country you are, the makeup of the families, the particular way in which you deliver an experience for children, whether you're leaning more activities, where you're leaning more play work, whether there's that lovely blend in the middle. How you do that is determined to you and is unique to you as a setting. And I didn't want something that was going to be used as an inspection. I didn't want it to be a tool to beat settings up with at all. I wanted it to be not about external validation, but about you owning and taking control of your quality journey. And it's very important that I'm really clear that this is about a culture of excellence being built in your setting, that you're taking control of how you improve and how you demonstrate that. So that's where Make Play Work QualityWorks came from. It is a first of its kind self-assessment, and I can say that with confidence because over the years I have been trained in and have used every single one, as far as I can tell, of the nationally produced quality improvement and quality assurance toolkits since the very, very early ones that we've had under the right from the very early ones that we've had under the 4 Children banner. I've also done ITAs, ECAs and all of those. We've been trained in lots of those different toolkits, and I've looked at them all. I've trained in them all and I've used all of them, and none of them are perfect in the same way that I don't think QualityWorks is perfect, but they all are, for me, slightly missing the position about that quality journey and that culture of excellence being from you as a team first. Okay, so I did have to change my thinking. I am not too proud to admit that I've had to have a bit of a rethink. But when I tell you that quality in this space has been my practice obsession since the very early 2000s, it really has. It is the whole basis for my master's thesis that I wrote when I did my MA in Play and Play Work. It is the thing that I talk about most as a expert in this space, and I absolutely love working with settings to really help them to understand and own what makes them perfect, what makes them brilliant, what makes them deliver magical experiences every day for children. So that is where it's come from. And what it is, what QualityWorks is the solution to those problems that I've always grappled with. Before I tell you what it is, let me start with what it isn't. Make Play Work QualityWorks is not a tick box exercise. It is not a checklist that you can go, yes I do, yes I do, yes I do, oh no I don't, I better fix that, okay yes I do, move on, done. It's not one and done. It is a journey. It is a commitment to quality in the long term, and it is about developing a quality understanding, a shared understanding of quality, the journey that you all go on as a team. We all know that when quality becomes a tick box exercise, it gets ignored. We know that staff disengage from the process and nothing ever really changes, or it might change in the very small short term, but it doesn't take a long term change and it doesn't stick. So Quality Works is not about filling in forms and filing them away. It's not about producing great big sheaves and folders full of evidence, as you might have done previously with other toolkits. It's about having meaningful ongoing conversations with your team to drive real improvements in practice. So it is collaborative. Whilst it can be done by a manager or an owner from a sort of top-down level, it works absolutely best where it is a collaborative approach, where you share the conversations within your team, and that then helps people to own their bit of the quality journey, which makes it stick. So it is very much around embedding that culture, not just proving it on paper because it's for you. It is about meaning that everybody on your team has a voice, everybody has a role and a contribution to play in shaping how your setting improves. So it's a self-assessment and improvement toolkit, and it's designed to give you real insight into how your setting is performing across that clear roadmap of 15 key areas of practice. It is suitable for every type of provision under every governance model. It has been designed for group-based wraparound childcare providers, but it can be used by childminder type providers, it can be used by school-run providers, it can be used by activity-based providers, it can be used for just holiday providers. So everybody can use this toolkit if they want to. It's not just about why, and I think I've said this already, but it's not just about why you should do it and theoretically what you should do. It's about how you, in the context of your setting, develop and deliver a quality experience for children, and how you embed those structures as you sort of move through those 15 key areas. It is reflective, it is discursive, it is designed to be collaborative in its approach, but what it does do is it positions you as the expert against research, policy, and an experience-based framework. So I've used all of the research that I've undertaken in the last however many years, all of the policy work that we've been doing, and the experience that I have got doing this kind of work, as well as the people who are doing the work on the ground every day in settings, who've tested this, who've given us feedback, who've come back to us with improvements. We've taken all of that together and built out this toolkit for you. So it's, like I've said before, it's not just a set of checklists, it's a structured framework that helps you to drive that meaningful improvement. And not only does it give you the sort of the manual, if you like, with all of those 15 key areas set out, but you'll also be able to use an online tool to assess your setting, to help you generate custom action plans that are tailored to your needs. And you can do it as a whole, you can do it in chunks, you can start anywhere that you want. So it really is very flexible, but it guides you through every step of the process. So at the moment, because Ofsted grades are gone, this toolkit gives you a credible, evidence-based way to prove the quality of what you do and demonstrate the quality of what you do to parents, to funders, such as local authorities who are funding at the moment, or any charity-based funding that you might be receiving, but also to schools. So if you are looking to grow and expand and looking to other markets in other schools, you might want to use the Quality Works toolkit to support the notion that you provide a high quality experience for children. So in giving you that clear structure across those 15 practice areas, you're going to be able to really go beyond that simple kind of grading that we have at the moment to really demonstrate how exceptional your provision truly is. So talking about Ofsted, I've said this over and over again to providers, and it's almost become a bit of a kind of a tagline that I trot out lots of the time, and it is just, don't just do it for Ofsted. What I have seen over the period of time where we've changed these inspection gradings is that actually I think they've been very disincentivized or disincentivizing for providers in this space. I think that where Ofsted have changed their grading systems and their grading structure and have said, you know what, actually we're only going to do met or not met, providers have kind of gone, well, if you're only going to grade me as met or not met, I'll take my foot off the gas a little bit around quality improvement. I'm not striving quite so much to demonstrate that every day. That's not saying by any stretch of the imagination that you're not delivering that already. It's just about how we demonstrate it. And of course, there are many benefits beyond Ofsted or just sort of seeing that measurable improvement in your setting that go beyond thinking about quality improvement for children. If you're struggling to engage your staff, as I mentioned before, getting them involved in something like this, they will grumble at first. I don't doubt it. But in reality, they will see the part that they play in terms of this journey. They will see the unique part and contribution that they make to what you're doing every day for children. They will get behind the effort, and because their voice is being heard, they will own it a little bit more. If you're facing or finding that it's hard to demonstrate to parents and schools the value of what you do, and I hear this over and over again, you will actually have some real credible evidence about starting points moving forward, what you do really, really well, what you're working on, etc., etc. But it's very much positioning you as the experts, and it's not a tick box exercise, and it's not just about compliance. It goes way beyond compliance. It goes way beyond those national standards, if you like, below which you must not fall. So there are lots of different ways in which you can use this to benefit your setting. And the one thing that I've spoken to certainly my EUSA ambassadors about while we've been testing this, and a couple of the settings that have been working through this with me, is that it's going to give you a framework to never run a boring staff meeting, supervision session or appraisal again, because actually everything that you do will be tied into the contributions that everybody's making towards that journey together for quality improvement in your setting. So it's actually going to benefit you in lots of different ways, and some of them might be unexpected. Okay, so this is very much about understanding where you're at against these key practice areas, so that you're not relying on Ofsted just to demonstrate the quality of what you do, because that's very difficult in this space. And as I've mentioned already, we know that Ofsted have a proposed new inspection framework out for consultation at the moment. We're working with, and we have been working in close consultation with Ofsted on this new framework. And I am now more convinced than I ever have been that now is the right time for Quality Works to be launched. I'm not making any big brave promises that what we've put into Quality Works is going to be exactly reflected in the inspection framework, because the inspection framework is just making decisions and quality gradings about what is in the legal framework. So the legal framework for delivery of provision in this space isn't changing. The way in which it's providers will be inspected is changing. And when I saw the new inspection framework and I really looked into it and then when I've had further conversations with Ofsted, I am more sure than ever that providers in the wraparound space are going to need a framework to support them to do that methodology of inside out leadership in terms of leading the inspection, thinking about self-reflection, continuous improvement, and how they as the provider talk to and lead the Ofsted inspector through the quality journey that they've been on since last inspection. Quality Works wasn't designed to do that, but I'm really, really pleased to see that it is going to align quite nicely with the proposed Ofsted framework. So obviously if it changes, we will perhaps need to have a rethink, but under the current proposals in April 2025 for the new inspection framework and how that is likely to apply to wraparound provision, I think Quality Works is going to be a really useful tool for wraparound providers to be working through to demonstrate the quality of what they've been doing and how it's moving forwards. So we have 15 key practice areas, and I have promised everybody involved in this that I will not add any more in, because it grew from 8 to 10 and then from 10 to 15. And we've had a lot of debate over how many practice areas we've included and whether or not it's too many. I actually don't think it is, because every setting is going to be different. Every setting is going to be at a different place in terms of their own quality journey. And what I wanted to be really sure is that there was work to be done for everybody. Or perhaps I shouldn't be so ambitious, but work to be done for most people. And so when you think about Quality Works and the 15 practice areas that you can see here, we have kept them really broad, but we have covered quite a lot. So things like sustainability in action as our final Quality Works area. We are thinking about the impact on the environment. We're thinking about the ways in which the setting contributes to delivering their service in a sustainable way, how we support children's understanding around things like recycling, etc, etc, etc. So there's loads of content in there. Some of these areas are shorter than others. Some are quite lengthy. So for example, strengthening business practice is quite a chunky one, because there's quite a lot to improve in, to cover in there. And for some providers, there probably will be quite a lot to improve. But there are, we've tried to split them out into ways that make sense. And this is what we've landed on. Building school partnerships is the first point. Engaging families, a child-centred rights-based approach. We think it's really important that we start from a rights-based approach when we're thinking about child-centredness. We go through strengthening business practice, growing teams and leaders, building a culture of safeguarding. We've got attracting and retaining talent, recruiting safely and robustly, etc, etc. I'm not going to go through them all, but we think we've got a really good coverage across the different areas of practice and running a successful wraparound setting. The thing to bear in mind is that I don't want any wraparound providers out there going, oh my gosh, this is a huge amount of work to do. You can start anywhere as long as you start. I don't mind where you start. You can pick somewhere that you feel really comfortable, somewhere that you think you're doing really well in, or you can pick the smallest one. I really don't mind where you start. You can pull a number out of a hat, whatever works for you. But what I want is for people to start. The most important thing is that you start using this toolkit. I would expect every setting will take some time to work through this. Like I said right at the beginning, this isn't one and done. It is something that is going to take a little bit of time to work through to do it really, really well. But some of the people that we've tested it with just took a really quick scan through of, say, 4 or 5 of the key practice areas and then picked somewhere to start. Others knew already where they needed to do some work, so they started there. It genuinely doesn't matter, and you can take as much time as you want to go through these. Some of the practitioners and the settings that we've tested it with did some real quality deep work with their teams in certain areas, so it's obviously, if you take that approach, it's going to take a little bit longer to work through the entire toolkit, but it's definitely worth thinking about how you might use it within your setting, within the context of your staff team, etc, etc. So the toolkit itself, it covers those 15 areas, and then what you can see here is an example of the manual. So the toolkit has a manual which covers off each of the 15 areas. What you'll see is that there are key questions through the practice area, and what we've done is we've given you the 1 grading, which is the poor practice, and the 5 grading, which is the sort of the aim of the practice. We have as a team, gone back and forwards about whether or not giving you a 3 and middle point grading is the right thing to do. And what we actually decided is that we weren't going to give a middle point grading because we think that that's the starting point of the conversations that you have. So for each of the areas of practice, each of the key questions, the first thing to do is to look at the criteria 1 and 5, decide what you think 3 might look like, and the extent to which you're 3, 4 or 5, or 3, 2 and 1, and pick a grading that you think best represents your usual practice, your everyday practice. We do have this as a editable PDF, so you can write into it, type into it, you can print it out. It doesn't matter how you as a provider want to use that. What we are considering doing, so let me know what you think, is having a printed toolkit that you can take away. But what we recognise is that doesn't leave you space to grow and stretch your answers. And we don't want it to be a one and done thing. We want you to come back to it. We want you to improve your practice, move those gradings up, change things as you go. So we actually think that having an editable PDF is the best option, but we'll take representation on that one. All the way through each of the sections, you'll see the key questions and then those gradings with room to kind of scribble and write your notes down as you go through. So that's the manual. There are also within the manual is a bit of a description and some tips in terms of how we think that you can best use the toolkit. So everything that we're talking about today is going to be represented in a bit more of an in-depth video, but also we have got some guides that go with the toolkit as well, because we want you to take it away, we want you to use it. So we sometimes recognise that we might need to give you a little bit more tips on how to do that really, really well. Once you have worked your way through either the whole toolkit or a chunk of the toolkit or just one section, what each setting needs to do is to go into the scorecard, which is online, and register. And then what they will do is then complete the scorecard for that practice area. What this looks like is shown on the screen. So there is a goal for each practice area, and then for each of the key questions, so the slide on your the image on your right hand side of here is a key question, and you put your grading in. We don't want the information at this point. We don't want anything about we're here because our practice looks like this and this is what we're going to do. That belongs to you. That is part of your journey. That is sort of internal only, if you like. What we want to see in here is just the recording of your grading as it stands when you first submitted this. So there is one of these for every practice area and every key question within each practice area. So it's quite a chunky tool, and you can work through it at any point, and it saves your progress, it saves where you're at that point in time. What it then produces is a result. So it gives you a grading, a percentage grading, and those percentages are against each category, the extent to which you're largely scoring low, medium or high. So it's a bit of a law of averages in terms of producing this results, but you can drill into individual questions as well. But what it does is it gives you some understanding of the areas of practice that you might want to dive into a little bit more. It might help you identify, if you do a quick scan of it all, where you want to start, but it will sort of put a line in the sand of where you're at that particular point in time. So the scorecard results will give you an overview of the entire toolkit, or just the section that you've worked on. If you have not completed any of those sections, you won't obviously see a score coming up. It just builds as you go. So once you have worked through inputting the information in from your toolkit manual into your scorecard, and you've produced your results, what you get next is a report. So again, it tells you against the areas of practice that you've completed what your score is, and how you can improve. So the really lovely part about the scorecard and the report that it produces is that it is tailored to how you're scoring in each of those areas. So if you're scoring low, you will get specific tips on how to improve. If you're scoring high, you'll get some motivational tips about how you can continue on that journey of high quality practice. And that is different depending on what you score against each area. So not only do we give you your score, your overall score, but we'll also provide you with tailored tips in terms of how you then go on to improve over that journey. And what we have committed to is that as our understanding of how you guys are using the tool and how our understanding of quality practice improves, we will go in and we will update this. So anybody who buys the toolkit will also get the updates as well. So if anything changes, anything we find that needs improvement from feedback or whatever, we will continue to improve the toolkit as we go through. And that goes the same for things like if we have changes of regulation, etc., etc. We obviously will keep that up to date for you. So you might be sitting here today thinking about, I don't have time for another project, but actually I do feel, and I've talked a little bit about some of the frustrations that I think that this will help with. And I think that it's obviously not going to be for everybody. Some people will be going, no, it's not the right time for me to do that, but there'll also be hopefully a number of providers where this is just the tool that they have been waiting for. And so what I just want to be super clear is what is included in the toolkit. The manual gives you the how-to, not just the what and the why. We do include the why, obviously, because we think it's really important that you understand why we have set the goals, the practice goals that we have against each of those categories. You get the criteria for every key question, and there's the action planning tool as well. You get a separate action planning tool and a guide for successful action planning that has been developed. You get access on a setting by setting basis to the scorecard. So that gives you your overall score, your category score, and improvement tips as a personalised PDF report that's emailed to you. And what you also get is that evidence base. So through the scorecard, you get the evidence base of where you were at this point in time and how that builds as you go through. So you can have scorecard 1, scorecard 2, scorecard 3, and build those up to show improvement over time. There are some support options. So obviously we have the self-serve option where you are toolkit only. You buy the toolkit, you use the toolkit. That is on a per setting basis because of the access to the scorecard behind the scenes. And then we have guided support where we have the toolkit. You obviously get the toolkit, but you also get a review by one of our ESA Quality Agency team members and an hour's meeting with one of that team member who can help you to either identify where you want to start, help you work with your team, help you review what you've done so far. That's entirely up to you how you use that meeting. And then we have our VIP gold package, if you like, where we have you get all of the above, plus a training session for your team. So we will deliver a training session online to your team about the program, about the toolkit, sorry, and about how to really engage with that. So you can tick off your CPD for your team through that. You get mentor support through that. You will get assigned a ESA mentor who's going to work with you through that. And we also have some academy courses to help you. So we would release access to academy courses and other resources that we have to support that improvement journey. Just to give you a quick idea, and apologies, this is really small, but we have got some further information on the website about this. This is really what you get, and the pricing is there for you as well. So what you'll be able to see in a little bit more detail is the support options. So level 1 is our self-serve option. We have our guided support as level 2, where you get everything in self-serve plus the detailed review of your toolkit once you've completed it. You get feedback on your self-assessment and the action plan from your ESA Quality Academy member, you get recommendations for improvements tailored to your setting. So we will work with you to help sort of make improvements or recommendations if you're a bit stuck, and you get that 1 hour meeting with a member of the team across the period. So for your VIP, very important playwork people, premium level, you get everything in the previous 2 packages, as I've mentioned. At this point, you also, once you have completed your toolkit, you have worked obviously with us through the program. So we would be in a position through the premium support, that level, to issue you with a quality assessment certificate, so that collectively you'll be able to showcase your commitment to quality. You get that training session with the team, and you have that bi-monthly, so every second month you have access to an hour's mentoring support with a member of the USA team to help you work through the action plan. So for those of you who are really committed to going through this at pace and you want that accountability, the level 3 is your the premium support VIP package is the package that will really help you. We will help you with training sessions. We will release courses, up to 4 courses from the OSA Academy to suit whatever developmental needs you have within your quality journey, and you'll get that dedicated support through your mentor for completing and refining your action plan. With the level 2 guided support and the level 3 VIP premium support, we would do payment plans for those as well, because we recognise that for settings the price involved in that can be a little bit high for a one-off payment. So obviously we will put in place the option to pay in instalments for those who want to take them up. For the toolkit, we don't offer a payment plan. That is just a flat fee for that, and all those prices that you can see on there are include with VAT on top of that. Sadly, we have to charge that. So the pricing, we've wanted to keep the self-serve toolkit as accessible as possible for those providers who want to access it. So we've kept the pricing as accessible as we are able to. For the other two tiers, the pricing is based on the actual amount of support that you receive and the cost of that to. So the mentors and the quality team are all paid, so we have to obviously include that in the costing of that, but that can be spread as a package. So I just wanted to finish off by being really clear about our mission. You will have heard me talk about mission, vision, values, and how that guides the work that we do. The setting, you guys have told me that the government and the inspectorate don't understand or value what we do in this sector. So we're going to show them. We're creating a future for the wraparound childcare sector where we take back that control, where we show others what we do, how we do it, and demonstrate with the evidence base underneath it how we're consistently on our mission to create the best day every day for every child. I passionately believe that we can do this by using the Quality Works toolkit. I've been really nervous to release it because I believe in it so much. We've put a huge amount of work into getting this right, and we think that it's the right time. We think that it is the right moment to have this. What we will be doing through this is that really important part that's underlined here, which is the evidence base. We'll be creating an evidence base that we have never had before in this sector about the settings, about how we deliver a brilliant service for families, how we deliver brilliant magical experiences for children every single day, so that we can tackle this who are we identity crisis, so that we can feed into a conversation around what quality really looks like, that we can show other people what we do, how we do it, and demonstrate that evidence base that it has never underpinned the work that we do in this sector. So I hope you'll join me on that mission. It's something I feel really passionate about, and I really do hope that we can work really closely with the sector, work closely with government, work closely with the inspectorate to really demonstrate how we do what we do in our sector every day. So if you want to have a little go, This isn't the whole toolkit. This is a quality improvement scorecard to give you a sense of the toolkit and the technology that we're using behind the toolkit in itself. There's a QR code just there, but actually there's a bit.ly link, and it's USA QI scorecard. It's bit.ly/USA QI scorecard if you want to give it a go. We've had about 80 or 90 providers who have used this toolkit, this sort of 10-15 question toolkit so far, and it's really interesting to see that come through and see the different areas. So far there is work to be done across all of the areas, so I'm quite pleased about that because it means that we're pitching it in the right area. But if you wanted to get a sense of how the tech works behind the scenes, that is the place to give it a go. So thank you for listening. I hope it's been really interesting. I've tried to keep it short, but inevitably when I'm talking about quality, I'm really passionate about getting this right for the sector. And I hope that you agree that this is something that we really need, and a toolkit that's really going to work for providers as we go forwards. So thanks for listening. I'm going to let you get on to whatever it was you were doing, hopefully thinking about quality in this space now. There will be more released about Make Play Work. For those of you who are local authorities, we've got a little bit of an overview on how you can get involved. For those of you as providers, we're going to be sharing it through our newsletter and on our website very soon. So just wait for that. But if you want to hear first, have a little go of the quality improvement scorecard that we've got there for you, because people who sign up to that are going to be the first to get the emails about Make Play Work as soon as it's released. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye bye.